Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. This video is dedicated to the friend of Aaron Jelks who asked me to investigate this death. And this video is for everyone to see what our police truly are in this nation. They are organized killers. The police are the worst people amongst us by and large. If we got rid of the police, what you would see happen in this nation is you would see murder fall, you would see crime fall, you would see drug running fall, you would see weapon running fall. All throughout this nation, it is the authority, the people who are entrusted to protect, that largely bring the problems they're paid by the taxpayers to protect from. And a lot of people know this. This video is further proof. So Aaron Jelks was a 25-year-old man, and the story was that on August 22nd, 2001, he was drinking and driving and crashed into a guardrail on Interstate 5, the major freeway that runs north-south the west coast of the United States of America. Supposedly, after he crashed into the guardrail, he was trying to jump away from it, but instead of getting away from it, he fell over the edge. And over the edge is a 50-foot fall. Most people, when they fall 50 feet, they die. Well, in Aaron Jelks' case, he didn't die. Almost every bone in his body was crushed, but he was still alive, and he was calling out for help. The official story is 2 police officers saw this man crash, and they were aware that he was down there alive calling for help, but the 2 police made the decision to not call paramedics and to not help him. And this was all acknowledged in a legal setting in a courtroom when the parents of Aaron Jelks filed a lawsuit against the Sacramento Police Department. This happened outside of Sacramento on Interstate 5. Aaron Jelks was a former college football player for the Oregon Ducks, the northern neighbor of California. Anyhow, the police, or the parents of Aaron Jelks, filed suit against the police for them not helping their son and leading to his death. He died hours after falling because no one came to help him, when 2 police were aware of this. And do you know what happened in the courtroom? The judge said it's not required by law for police to help people who are in need. They have no legal obligation to do so, and the judge ruled that the police weren't liable for anything. There was no wrongdoing, there was no crime. They just followed what was within their guidelines. They didn't have any responsibility to report to the ambulance, the hospital, that there was a man dying in need of severe medical attention. And you can read about this entire case. The case went down in 2003, about 2 years after his death. Just think about this. Just think about this. This should be a national outrage. This should be a well-known story. I never heard about this story before this man brought it to my attention. But anyone can go read about this. And after anyone reads about it, they should go, well, why the hell do we have police? What's the point of police? I mean, they see a man fall to his nearly death and he's still alive and he's calling for help and they just let him die? You know, for most of us who've ever had to deal with the police, this comes as no surprise. Most police are the biggest scumbags on this planet, without exception. All they want to do is be in charge, be the authority, have rules over everyone, carry a gun, have a badge. These people aren't doing anything. You know, like I just said, they're the ones responsible for the majority of murders in this nation. They're the ones who are funneling in the drugs and the guns. So how it's always been. Look up the history of police. Everywhere that police have been, they've only served one purpose: to protect the tyrants that rule over the masses. And that's what they do here in this nation. You know, writing people tickets, locking up weed smokers, doing nothing for the civic good. And what's not proven, but what pretty much goes unsaid, is I have zero doubt about what really happened to Aaron Jelks on this night. He might have had alcohol in his body, but I have no doubt that the same 2 police officers who witnessed this man go over the edge and call for help and did nothing about it, I have zero doubt that they're the same 2 men who threw him over the edge. Zero doubt. And as I always explain, in all these suspicious deaths and murders where the reporting comes from the police, who do you think's really doing the killing? The police are killers. And understand, the reason I'm here speaking out is because I'm after that big R word, revolution, long overdue. It's time to overthrow this corrupt government, taxation without representation, bullshit media, bullshit fear from the government all the time. Paid for, I mean, look at what we do as a society. We pay for all of this with our taxpayer dollars. These police who do nothing for us, this government that does nothing for us. This story is so sick. You know, this story just disgusts me. They threw him over I-5 near Jaboom Street. I guarantee this is no coincidence either. This was a young black man. Jaboom. Kind of sounds like kaboom, like what happened to his body when he fell 50 feet. The police probably couldn't believe he was still alive, you know? So they just went out of there. They left, using their legal authority of having to do nothing, as upheld by the witch in the witch's gown in the courtroom, which is what all judges are. Look at this. Jaboom. 42. Like nigger, like brothers, like slavery, like Martin, like Malcolm X, like bust, like boy. Your whole black history. Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X. It's all by the numbers. Martin and Malcolm murdered by the same numbers that Rosa Parks was murdered by. Similar numbers to what this man was murdered by. The name Aaron James Jelks, the full name of the man thrown over the bridge by the two police officers, gematria 46 like sacrifice. You can read all this. This is all the information about what went on, how the judge said that the police were fine, they followed the law, the parents outraged, of course. I'll tell you what, if I was the parents, I would have started the revolution right then. The judge certainly wouldn't have lived that day. I would have took the judge down with me. But here's why Aaron Jelks was the young black man thrown over the bridge. He had all the right numbers, this poor guy. He was born March 25th, the 84th day of the year. Killed at age 25 on August 22nd, the same day Huey P. Newton met his demise, the man who founded the Black Panther Party. Talk about what August 22nd has to do with death. It's also possible that this sacrifice had to do with the NFL Super Bowl that year, which the Ravens won. A lot of times these ritual sacrifices, they're connected to many things. This guy was an Oregon college football player. Oregon college football became good right after his death as well. Also possibly part of the reason. But look at this. August 22nd, the date he died. Notice it's the day leaving 131 days left in the year. Super Bowl equals 131. Championship 131. Again, the Ravens won that year. Ravens 25. This man killed at 25. Former college football player. But August 22nd, what's super suspicious about this death, or the date of death, is the 22/8 sequence. The word death equals 228. The day he died after being thrown over the bridge. You know, I mean, when you're drunk, you can do a lot of stupid things, but how many people are really going to climb over the guardrail and fall 50 feet to their death, you know? And what are the odds that the cops were there to witness it and then do nothing about it? So anyhow, this young man was born on the 84th day of the year. He died on 22/8, United States of America 84, United States of America 228, a nation that began out of killing, began out of a genocide of the natives, and then came to power on the backs of slavery, on the backs of young black men. This is why, you know, Aaron Jelks was thrown. And again, he was 25, another number connecting to death. The name Jelks sums to 33. Oregon, the 33rd state. 33, number of ritual sacrifice. He was even born on a date with 33 numerology. Died on a date with a life lesson number of 33. He died 21 weeks and 3 days after his birthday, 213. Again, number coded all over the killing of young black men throughout history. In satanic gematria, death is 213. So is the word nigga. See it all the time. So many young black men killed by 213. See? Again and again. Think about Nate Dogg. 213. Nate Dogg's death has a lot to do with 213. Nate Dogg died on the 74th day of the year. Killing 74. Rapper 74. Masonic 74. There's that song Gematria, the killing name. Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. Aaron Jelks had the wrong gematria, the wrong birthday, and that's why this story happened to him. And, you know, I hope this video reaches his family. I imagine they're still out there. I'm telling you, Truth Seeker, when enough people wake up, it's time for the revolution. It's time to get rid of the police. It's time to get rid of the government. It's time to get back to sanity instead of living under tyranny and bullshit. What's the point of having a legal system? What's the point of this legal system? I mean, look at this story. What is the point of this legal system? Cops can just let somebody die? Why do we want to pay taxes for that? Let me tell you my own story. My house, robbed by the police for exposing all their corruption. Then what happens? You know, they collaborated with my piece of shit neighbor who doesn't have a job. Might live across the street as an informant just to spy on me. What happened to me? I get robbed by the police and my neighbor. Then what happens? My neighbor goes out and files a restraining order against me? The person who robbed my house filed a restraining order against me. I didn't see that coming. Then went to court and explained what was going on. Judge decided to uphold the restraining order. Then what happened? Then my neighbor with the restraining order who just robbed my house goes out and buys the exact same vehicle as me. Then he begins to harass me, flipping me off, trying to yell at me from across the street just so he can get me in trouble. After about 6 months, I finally told him one day to fuck off. And then what happened? He called the police. I had 5 police at my house in 5 seconds flat, and I'm arrested. You know, nothing's ever done to the guy who ripped off my house. Nothing's done to him for harassing me. He gets a restraining order upheld by the court system. You see how this works? This is why we need to burn this system to the ground. Look at this nation. Just a fucking joke. Everything about it. Here we are 16 years later after the death of this man. We got an Orange Oompa Loompa as the president, the pussy grabber, the groper, the casino manager, the thief in chief. This follows on the back of Barack Obama, who might as well have been Osama bin Laden. You know, Mr. False Hope. So easy to see through, so transparent. He came on the back of what? The crackhead son of a former president, George W. Bush. People can't see this nation's a joke. That's what happens when you live in a joke too long. The people become a joke, you know? The biggest problem with this country. The people themselves, they're even worse than the evildoers. They worship the evildoers. They don't question the evildoers. They get down on their knees. It's sick. You need to take this world back for Aaron Jelks and everyone else like him. Can you imagine this? Having this done to you? Thrown over a bridge, 50 feet. You should have died right then, but you survived. I mean, this guy was a tough guy, obviously a survivor. Tried to survive, but nobody was there to help him. Because the police said, oh, F it. Drunk driver. Natural consequences. And then the judge in the witch's gown. Unreal. Unreal, Truth Seeker. Until next time.